Hi, class. My name is Dr. Y, and welcome to English 2. I'm using a new program called Screencastify, so I'm not even sure I'm looking in the right place. So this may be kind of dorky for the first few times I do it, but I wanted to add a personal touch to the class. So today I want to walk you through the class so you fully understand it and you can get off to a great start, because my goal as an instructor is that everybody who stays in the class, I would love you to pass the class. And I can't guarantee that. You have to meet me halfway, but I think that's a very realistic goal. So let's go for that, right? So here we are in the dashboard of Canvas. And if you haven't used Canvas before, you can go to the Panther Lab and E217 and get help. And if you're familiar with computers and online classes, I've had a lot of luck just Googling questions like, how do you do an announcement in Canvas? And it pops up, it shows me how. So try that. So you click on the class. And I have it set up in module view. So this first part here is the syllabus, and then I've broken it down into the different parts of the syllabus as well, because the syllabus is the contract for the class, has all the assignments, what they're worth. It gives you all your rights and responsibilities and rules. It's something that you need to read through and email me if you have questions. And it's also something that you go back and you reference later when you have questions. You're like, well, how many times can I be absent? What does it mean to be absent in online class? You can look that up again. So it's all right here, as well as right there. So two different places. The rest of the class, this information is also on the syllabus. These are all the assignments for the class week by week. And it's all published, but some of these are empty. Just the first week's ready to go. But you can see everything that is coming up and what it's worth. So you can see your entire class. So that's the way it's set up. Today, I want to go over the syllabus so that you know all the rules and regulations and all the assignments for the class going in, so you can decide whether an online class is right for you, or this is a class with a lot of work, especially at the end, and is that a good fit for you this semester and your schedule, right? You want to know everything up front. So again, this is the whole entire syllabus right here that I'm pointing at, but I'm just going to start with the different parts of it. So student learning outcomes, what that means is no matter whose class you take, you should end up learning the same things, even though you may read different things or listen to different videos and audios and have different assignments. You can end up learning the same things. And you can read this on your own, but basically what you need to know for critical thinking is that except for the first assignment, we're really not going to be reading and writing about topics. We're going to be reading about topics, and then instead of writing about a topic, you're going to be analyzing the author's or the speaker's argument, how logical they are, how good an argument they can create. And then when you're writing your own writing, you're going to be trying to improve your own content and your own arguments. So that is the focus of this class, so that you can become a little bit more careful of a thinker when you encounter things. No matter how good you are, right, we can all kind of practice that muscle and get better at it. Next, online classroom. Again, you can read this on your own. Couple things that are super important that I want to highlight. One is that there is a Canvas app for smartphones, but you can't rely on that 100% for English 2. It just will not work. You're not setting yourself up to succeed. So you need to have access to a computer in your home, or you need to be able to make it to one of the Hartnell campuses consistently when their computer labs are open. So please be aware of that you're going to need a computer. The other thing is that you can only be absent 2 weeks worth of class in Hartnell College classes in general. And in online classes, it is super, super picky. So being absent means that you don't do the assignment for the week. That's counted absent. So you can skip 2 weeks worth of assignments, but you want to try not to. And if you miss a third week, you get dropped. And it doesn't matter if those assignments were only worth 2 points each and you only missed 6 points out of 100. It does not matter. Those are the rules. And actually on online classes, the federal government is involved because I guess a lot of people took out financial aid and then they didn't show up to online classes, or they just kind of minimally showed up just to keep the financial aid flowing. And so they've really cracked down. So you need to complete your assignments every week. You don't necessarily have to do a good job, if you're having a bad week or something like that, but you have to complete the assignment and you have to show that you read the material or you went through the lecture material or you listened to the TED Talk. You have to demonstrate that you didn't just quickly throw something in the assignment to show that you're supposedly here, because that won't count, right? So you have to consistently be here, and there's no exceptions. On a regular class, when I have relationships with the students, if they are absent a little too much, but they're doing fine, and I know they're having personal problems, I can make an exception, but on an online class, the federal government does not let me make an exception. You're absent that third week, and that's it. So please be aware of that going in, because a lot of people get shocked, and I want you to stay in the class. I want you to succeed. Here's the screen just about me. You can text message me. You can email me. You can message me on Canvas. My office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11, and Monday as well, noon to 1. And again, you can do all those electronic things, or you can even come into my office on the main campus in D362. So you have lots of different options. If you email me during office hours, I'll get right back to you because I'm there in office hours. If you email me at other times or text message me, I'll get back to you usually within 24 hours if it's a school day. If it's a holiday or weekend, I might be at Big Sur up at Yosemite, or I might be out of range, and I just don't get it. And then you might have to wait till the next school day. But I'm really good at getting back to people. The picture, you probably can't see it that well, but you'll have to check it out when you get on Canvas. That's my daughter and I. This summer, we went to Pinecrest Lake and we rented a pontoon boat, and we saw a bald eagle for the first time. And my husband let my daughter drive the boat for about 3 seconds, and she was super excited about that. So that was a really fun trip. We like nature. This is just the attendance policy. Again, please be aware of that and take a close look at it because it's really important. Late work. There's no late work. There's no makeup work in this class. So everything's set up week by week by week, and weeks start on Monday and they end on Sunday. And you need to get everything done within that week. Now, sometimes there's due dates within the week. Like if there's a discussion, maybe you need to check in 2 or 3 times. And usually, if you're having a bad week and you do everything at the last minute one week, as long as you get in with that week, that's fine. I don't want to see you consistently doing that, but within that week, you need to get your work done and not at the last second. Once the week's done, we do not revisit it. We're not going to have a makeup week at the end of the semester. There's a lot to do this semester, so once you miss it, you just miss it. So stay up to date with the week. There's no going back. Other couple of pieces of advice to keep in mind is that you really should get in the habit of checking in each Monday to see what the assignments are, how much prep material there is, what you need to read, what you need to listen to, so that you can plan your week. Because at the beginning of the semester, you may be able to get away with like 3 hours a week for this class. It starts slow, and we're building skills that we're going to use on bigger projects later on in the semester. But as the semester goes, it builds and builds and builds, and you may end up needing 10 hours or more a week. So make sure you check in early so you're not shocked and surprised. Another thing is never do your assignments on Sunday, the last day, because if there's a technical problem, even with Canvas, or if you have a personal problem and you come to me and say, I couldn't get it done because of that, I won't accept that because you had the entire week to get it done. So be aware of that you need to give yourself extra time and plan that early in the week. Okay. And then what's next? Oh, behavior. Just be respectful to each other. Read this over. That's usually not a problem in an online class. Okay, what you need to buy for this class. So we don't actually have a textbook. I looked at a lot of different textbooks and they were so boring and they made me hate reading. And I love reading. I'm an English major, right? So I just didn't like them. So we're going to try to go without them and we'll get materials online. And when I can't find materials, I'll make them myself. And so hopefully that will work and it will definitely save you over $100. So that's nice. You do have to buy a book, and it's right here, Angela Duckworth's Grit. We're going to be reading that starting spring break and doing a big project on it. And you can even get started reading it early if you are a slow reader. I'm fine if you get the audiobook. And in fact, you can get the audiobook free a lot of times if you sign up for a 30-day free trial at audible.com. And so that's something to consider too. I'm probably going to get the audiobook and the regular book and switch back and forth. The only thing is that we're not reading Grit for the topic. We're going to analyze her arguments. So if just listening to the book, you cannot really analyze her arguments without seeing the words on the page, that's not an excuse. Then you need to buy the book. So be aware of that. Another thing is that some people, they pride themselves on never reading the book, and they go to like great lengths they spend more time not reading the book than reading the book. This book, it's comes spring break and after, and it's worth a lot of points. There's a lot of the points that are tied in with tests for this book and assignments for this book and an essay for this book. So you're just not going to pass the class unless you read the book. And again, listening to the book counts as reading the book, but one way or the other. So if you're just dead set on never reading a book, this is not the class for you, because you don't want to, get A's on everything to spring break and then blow it for yourself. So please be aware of that this is a requirement going into things. The last part of the syllabus is just kind of like a student handbook. It's things that I'm required to put in my syllabus. So we're not going to go over them really that carefully. This is things that you can read on your own. But here, the Office of DSP&S, if you have a learning or physical disability, you need to work with that office on campus, and then they'll work with me to get the arrangements that you need. So make sure you do that soon, because we're doing assignments right away. The financial aid number, an email. Plagiarism, no plagiarism is allowed in the class. And the first time you're plagiarized, you get a 0 on the assignment. You can't redo it. And I report you to the dean, and you go on a list. And then if it's your second time, or if it does happen a second time, then the dean takes more serious measures. So make sure you don't do that. An English 2 student should know how to write an essay and should know how not to plagiarize. But there's some links here in case you need to refresh that, because you're expected to know it. And then emergency notification doesn't really apply to the online class, right? We're not going to really have an emergency. But if you're on campus for the computer lab or for the tutorial center at the Panther Lab, something like that, then this is useful information to have. So take a look at that. Okay, and then I got to move this thing over so I can hit next. Although actually I don't think I want it. Okay, this is our first assignment, which I'm not ready to go over yet. So let's go back to home. Right, you can always go back to home. And okay, so all this other stuff is also on the syllabus. It is all the assignments for the class. It says the date, the assignment, and it says the points or the percentage. And the class, there's a lot of them that aren't worth a lot because I like to make my classes worth 100 points. So the math is easy, I guess, for everybody. So here's all of this. Again, we start with a lot of small skill building skills assignments, and then we move into a couple of bigger projects at the end. So you need to schedule your time accordingly. To make the class a little bit more interesting, I'm trying to mix it up. So we have in-class essays, we have creative assignments, we have multiple choice tests and quiz, and we have discussions, right? Class discussions. So lots of different things that we'll be doing so that the class doesn't get boring. And of course, it's not just doing the assignments, but it's looking at the lecture material and the reading or the TED Talks or the audio or whatever text is involved as well. What else do you need to know? Oh, I guess I already said starting spring break. Down. Starting spring break, we will start reading Grit, the book. Where is spring break? It's up here. Yeah, there it is, right there. Okay. And there's no points during spring break, but you need to get a jump start on it first 3 chapters. And again, you can start early if you want to. And then we have quite a few assignments where we use the skills we already built and add some more when we're having reading tests about Grit, and we are writing about Grit, and we are doing assignments about Grit. So quite a bit of that is going on. And is time consuming. And then the last 2 weeks of class, or actually the last week of class, and then finals week, we're going to be writing a research essay. It's not quite as long as English 1A research essay. It's only 8 to 10 pages, and I would rather not even do a research essay in this class, but it's required, so we have to do it, and it may even be state required. So we're doing it, but I think it's on an interesting topic. This is all not filled in yet. Only the week we're in is actually has any content in it. But I can give you a heads up that you're going to have to pick a place you get the news. So it could be KSBW News, or it could be Fox News, or it could be news you get on Facebook. It could be any source you get news, and you're going to have to evaluate it. So you have to give, what they do well and what do they not do so well. What do they leave out? What do they tend to focus on a lot? And then you're going to have to give them a letter grade, right? Is this, well, it's pretty good, it's a B+, or they're doing a terrible job. It's a D-, right? You have to give them a grade. I don't know if I'd give anything, even NPR, an A. So if you choose A, you're going to have to really convince me. So that's what you're going to do, and I think that'll be fun. And we've got 2 weeks. We've got the last week of class, which I'll really walk you through it and get you started. We'll do research. You'll have your thesis, and you'll have an outline, and we'll even write the first couple of paragraphs. And then the finals week, I'm going to give you all the way to the end of finals week, so the 27th. And you'll have to actually write that essay. And that's the only essay that you're actually going to write out and then have to submit into turnitin.com, which will be through Canvas here. The others are all going to be in-class essays. So, and you can check how many out. It's right here. So that is all of that for the semester. And then coming back to our first week here, first, actually, let's look over here. Over here, you can check your grades at any time. And there's the other people in the class, and there's the syllabus. And then these quizzes and assignments, these are all listed right here in the order that you have to do them week by week. So I wouldn't worry about it because there's not makeup work. So it's not like you're going backwards anyway. This week is a short week, right? It starts on Thursday. So we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have 4 days, right, to get our assignment done this week. And we actually have a big assignment this week. It's not that big, but it's not your little introduce yourself assignment. And I did that on purpose because the only time I can drop people for missing one class is when people miss the first class. So we're actually writing an in-class essay this week, and I did that on purpose. I like to get a baseline instead of waiting till next week. I'm doing it right now because if you're not serious about working in this class, it's better that you find that out for yourself right now rather than skating through the first week and then you get your first assignment and you start faltering, right? So you need to decide whether you're in or out this week. So this week you're going to write agree or disagree essay. So and it's an in-class essay. And right here it says there's no time limit, but actually I'm gonna go in and change that. You can have a 3-hour time limit, and the essay's really designed to only take 50 minutes or an hour. But I like to put a time limit on it because I've been teaching online several semesters, and what I found out is that when I don't put a time limit, people procrastinate, and then they don't get it done. But if I put a 3-hour time limit, people schedule 3 hours, and then when that time comes, they sit down and they write the essay. And it's kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid, right? So it helps you succeed because it helps you just get it together. I have a famous quote, or not a famous quote. I have a quote by a famous person. It doesn't matter who this person is, and you shouldn't be Googling the quote or Googling anything. This is you agreeing or disagreeing. And I'm not going to grade this essay hard. I'm thinking A's and B's, right? And it's just a baseline. It's for me to see how good your arguments are so I can compare them to the end of the semester. At the same time, I don't want you to purposely do a bad job so that you have improvement in the semester, because I want to actually see where people are. So please be honest about that. You should already know how to write an essay. You should be able to do an attention grabber and have a clear thesis that agrees or disagrees. You should have topic sentences that give the reasons why you agree or disagree. And then the rest should not come from Google. It should not come from research in the library. It's what you think in your head, why you agree or disagree, just your ideas. That's all I'm looking for, just your ideas. You don't have to use examples if you don't want to. Do not use quotes. There's nothing to quote from, right? You can use examples if you want to. You can use current events if you know about them. You can use something you know about another culture or you learned in another class. You can use things that you just know about history, the Revolutionary War or whatever, without quoting them or citing them. You can mention things like that. You can mention details. If you're talking about junk food, you could talk about Snickers bars, or if you're talking about cars, you can talk about Ferraris, right? You can even use hypothetical examples, or you can even use examples of things that happened to you or someone you know. However, if you don't want to use examples, that's okay too. You can just give your reasons and your arguments. I'm just saying that all those things are okay. What's not okay, no quotes. This is not about looking stuff up. This is about what you know and what you think. And if one person knows more about history or current events than you, does not matter. The reasons and you're trying to persuade me to agree with you, right? Whether you agree or disagree, you're trying to get me to be on your side, right? So it's how convincing you are with that. Okay, so just do the best you can. Again, A's and B's. You've got to write at least 4 or 5 paragraphs, and you've got to do that very first week, right? This first Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you've got to get that done. So what you'll do is, so this is the test, and again, it says no time limit, but I'm gonna fix that. And then you just start the test, and you can't go in and out. It's a 3-hour time limit. So once you're in, you just do it. You've scheduled those 3 hours, and again, it's only going to take an hour probably, and then you're going to be done. Okay, so that's this week. We're going to really start with a bang, but I know you can do it. You're English 2 students, and I know writing it isn't always that much fun, but it's a real nice sense of accomplishment once you've done it. So just jump in there and do it, and no one else is going to be reading it but me. So, and again, I'm going to grade A's and B's. So you do not have to worry about any of that. So I guess that's it. That's our class. So I really look forward to having all of you in the class and getting to know you. And I hope this is super successful. Make sure you email me or contact me on Canvas early and often with your questions. And I'm excited to do this. So see you soon. Bye.